Marsh Wiggle Madness, back again. I'm Glumpuddle.
And I'm Jim Fan.
One more region to go, and we'll have our final four.
Oh my gosh, can't wait.
Yeah.
We're almost there.
Moving on in our quest to find the official favorite cover of Talking Beasts, the Narnia podcast. Today's region, we're looking at The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and the top 4 international covers.
And why are we dividing it out that way?
I did think about just doing 8 Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobes, because there are a lot of Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe covers.
So many more, like almost double
than
any other cover on its own.
Yeah, but unfortunately, there weren't any international covers that quite made it into the top 32. They came very close. I just thought it would be fun to get some international coverage into the race.
Yeah.
And instead of just doing 8 Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobes, I'm like, hey, so this is the top 4 Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe covers being pitted against the top 4 international covers. Kicking things off with a top-seeded Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, the top-seeded in this region, up against a German Voyage of the Dawn Treader, which...
I feel like I already know what you're going to say.
It has the Dawn Treader on the cover. Good job, Germany. You did it. Yeah, so what do you think about the way the Dawn Treader looks in this?
I think the Dawn Treader looks as described. I don't think it's my favorite artistic representation of the Dawn Treader. It definitely gives a feel of action.
It looks very aggressive, doesn't it?
It does look a little aggressive. It gives a feeling of movement. But aside from it being the ship in the ocean, I want to see the ship in the ocean elevated a little bit more. But I would say this is definitely a really nice cover.
Can't tell which part of the book this is depicting. Lone Islands, I guess. It could
really
be any part.
There's no one on the ship.
There's no one on the ship.
Maybe they're all on an island.
Is it a ghost ship? People might think, if you haven't read the book. Ooh, otherworldliness.
Or they're all below deck. We don't know.
It's worth noting that they've added a red lion to the purple sail, which tell me that's not actually in the book, right? It's just a purple sail, right?
Polling the audience, is that
It's okay. I would know at this point. Yes, there's
you would know.
Yeah. Woo! I thought the camera light. Did I forget this crazy detail? No, just a purple sail in the book.
Yeah.
So they did add that detail, and that is kind of a cool detail, actually.
Yeah, very nice.
But come back over here
and save the best for last.
We all know that you love this set.
Oh, but not just this set. I have to say, out of all Narnia covers of all time.
Ooh, are you going to commit to this right now?
I'm not going to commit. This is definitely up there. This is super up there.
And it's the iconic image that inspired C.S. Lewis, of course. The fawn carrying the umbrella and the parcels in the snowy wood.
It immediately, you see snow. Snow is magical, except when it's not.
Yes.
But here in the book, in the book cover, it's magical. And then you see a fawn, and he's carrying an umbrella and packages, and you just what is going on with the story?
I
do not see a lion, I do not see a witch, and I do not see a wardrobe.
And she likes it anyway.
And I don't care.
Wow. Okay. So I'm in complete agreement with you. I'm going to say this top-seeded Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
It has to. It is
absolutely 100%. Moving on. Sorry, Germany.
It's a great cover.
We're going over here.
This one's so much better. Number 2 seed, Wardrobe, versus the number 7 seed, which is a Korean version of the Silver Chair.
First thing we got to say, this Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is the first edition.
Yes. And you can tell just by looking at it.
Not just a first edition in the series. This is the first edition. Okay.
It's hard. We know how we kind of enjoy our first edition Pauline Baines here, and when we've been doing these matchups.
The classic scene, Lucy and Susan on Aslan.
I love it. I don't love it as much as some of the other first editions.
I agree.
It's incredibly classic.
She kind of improved over time.
I'm really kind of intrigued by this Silver Chair cover. In that it doesn't look like any of the other Silver Chair covers that we've seen so far.
Did you notice but Puddleglum and Jill and
it has a very mystical
Eustace.
quality to it.
Very
I don't know if it's like the stars or like the kind of like Aurora-ish coloring. I'm intrigued by it.
I like the atmosphere of it more than a lot of the Silver Chair covers we saw in the past region.
How do you feel about it spoiler-wise?
I don't think...
I like that Aslan is on it.
It's funny that he doesn't seem to be... he is being restrained by the Silver Chair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You could argue that is a pretty big spoiler. Aslan seems like he's kind of just
overseeing.
An afterthought. Artistically, he's just kind of there, which that tends to happen. I do kind of like the mistiness. I think I have a soft spot for mistiness, fog.
I think we've seen that.
I'm realizing that now.
Yeah.
That's definitely like the snowstorm there. I'd almost like them to just take away Aslan and Rillian and just have the three of them. And just have that be it.
Yeah.
Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. It is a classic image of the two girls on top of Aslan, and I really like the border the two fawns are making.
Yeah. It's a very artistic way to kind of get a border in there, and then if we're going by representation of the title in the cover,
too, which I'm not.
The lion's in the cover. There's no witch and wardrobe, but we've got the lion. I feel like I'm just on I know there's a cover out there that's got all three of them. We know it's there.
Okay, I'm gonna stop trying to come up with some kind of other explanation for why I'm going with the original cover, but it just comes down to.
Nostalgia.
It is the first edition.
Yeah.
It is Pauline Baines. It is seeded, one of the higher seeds. I'll just be honest. I can't bring myself, even though there are aspects of this silver chair cover I'm really drawn to now that I look at it, I just can't bring myself to dethrone the first edition. I'm trying to say, throw out the nostalgia, throw out the reverence, and just look at it.
Yeah.
And I think I've done a pretty good job of that for this tournament. For this one, I am going to admit defeat.
Go with your heart.
Yes.
Just go with your heart.
I'll just be completely transparent. That's what's going on here. It's getting a free pass because it's the first edition.
It's the first of the first of the first.
Yeah,
it deserves to make it at least one run. I agree with you. I'm very intrigued by this international cover, but I also think this one, it's so classic.
Yep.
It's just so classic.
Yep. We have
had to.
Admitting defeat on that one. So the first edition still in for now. 3-seed Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and that's Pauline Baines again, and a 6-seed Korean Prince Caspian.
Wow.
Which kind of reminds me of the Photoshoppy Prince Caspian.
Yeah.
A little bit with the colors and everything.
Yeah. It's very similar, but it's a different style.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I still don't think this is my favorite style in terms of... There's still kind of like the floating Aslan head, which
this must be part of the same series as the silver chair one.
I think all of these series, if I recall correctly, they all had some... Aslan was on the cover in some form, which I like.
Just like the Photoshoppy series had him at the bottom for all of them. It's okay.
But it's not Photoshoppy. It's a really nice Prince Caspian cover. I actually really like this one. Our Pauline Bain Lion, Witch, and Wardrobe. This is
it's so classic.
A classic.
It's not as classic as the first edition one though, so I think I can kind of look at this one a little more objectively.
Yeah, but what is objectiveness when you're just picking
right
what your heart loves?
Now I think we should raise the spoiler issue again because obviously this is when Aslan comes back from the dead. Spoiler alert. Sorry to anyone watching this, but that's obviously what they're celebrating here. And I think as you're reading the book, you'd probably be able to narrow it down. Like, okay, what else could this be?
It's a very happy picture in a book that's actually not happy most of the book.
I think there's a sense
there's bits and pieces, but this is definitely towards the end.
I appreciate the desire because your natural inclination for a cover, I think, would be to depict the most dangerous or dramatic moment possible.
The White Witch.
Yeah, something like that. Or even here blowing the horn in the middle of the battle, it looks like. That would be the natural way to go. But here they've chosen to depict a moment of joy.
Yeah.
And I do appreciate that. But it's almost like joy, but it's a sense of action as well. Because the movement
and
of
it's also intriguing in that, like, they're dancing with a lion. Like, that's
a
not
good point.
usual,
That's a good point.
I really like this one. I think this one's incredibly classic.
This is a difficult decision for me. I think what tilts me this direction is that I just find it more appealing as a work of art. I really like the leaves that Susan's almost like whipping around Aslan's head or something like that. Aslan seems a bit small.
Yeah, the garland.
Yeah, and Lucy really timed that walk really well. Just as Aslan jumped, he's like, "Whoa, this is my moment."
Going around.
Yeah, this is just pulling me in more, and I find it more appealing as a work of art in general. So even though
it is very beautiful, it's incredibly classic.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to go with Baines on this one.
I'm going to have to go with the Korean cover only because
betraying your country.
I would say only because I think it's hard to do a Prince Caspian cover that I like. And I think this one gets a little bit closer to what my ideal cover would be.
This is surprisingly hard.
I'm going to have to go with this one. I like the coloring. I like the style of it.
Yep. Okay.
I'm going to go with Prince Caspian.
Then we are at a stalemate, so we have to let our Knights of Narnia break the tie. What do the Knights of Narnia say? Classic Colleen Baines, not surprisingly, I guess.
Not surprised at all.
Yep.
So,
all right.
That's a very worthy cover.
The 3-seed Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe moves on.
We have our 4th seed cover, and then for our international cover, we have a Dawn Treader cover, and this one is Dutch.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a beautiful watercolor photo.
It is neat.
Or image.
Yeah.
Drawing. Wow, I'm losing all my words today, but that is beautiful.
Done 3.5 regions, so I do like that it's a storm. I like the shape of the wave there, and I do like the water. Yeah, the watercoloriness is definitely a win.
It's beautiful.
Then we go back to, cause this feels, sort of similar to the one we just saw with Pauline Baines in that it almost looks like this artist was referencing in terms of the way the character's hair colors. Well, I guess not. Never mind. Lucy has blonde hair. Hey, that's a win. Lucy has blonde hair in this
Lucy
one.
has blonde hair. There you go.
That's cool. I really love everything about this cover except for Aslan's expression, I think.
I like it, though.
He's just sort of staring. I mean, it's cool. It stares right into the camera, which is kind of haunting and cool.
Aslan is the focus point.
As opposed to being just sort of stuck in there in the corner somewhere, which tends to happen. That's a good point.
Yeah. But, I mean, this is beautiful in terms of, like, the coloring I think is good. I don't dislike the expression. I don't think there's anything wrong.
I don't know.
It's
neutral.
To me, it's almost like an intimate moment in that, like, they're so close with him and they're, hugging him and burying their face in his mane. Yeah. And that, to me, I don't know. It's a lovely moment. It doesn't spoil too much, I don't think, because this doesn't have to be the moment of the resurrection necessarily. Right. I mean, we know that from reading the book, but this doesn't necessarily. I mean, this could be when he's about to die. This could be before that potentially. It's hard to tell. It's really beautiful.
In fact, it probably is. The more I think about it, that's why Aslan seems a little like sad and not quite all there. Yeah. So that could explain that. And I love the style of it. So, as much as I would love to see an international cover move on.
You can't go with it?
I really do. This one, honestly, I didn't like it at first glance. But when you mentioned the watercolor, you're like, oh, it makes me think about it in a different way. And I do kind of like that it looks like.
It's very stylized. I
like that it looks a little rough.
It's very rough. I would say it's almost a little
so hard.
Like, for my taste, it is a little too rough. But this is beautiful in terms of art.
Okay.
Like, this is something.
This is so hard.
It's really, really pretty.
It almost looks like the painting they could have gotten drawn into. Yeah. I mean, not the way it's described at all, but that's kind of the style, I imagine.
A little bit.
Well, what are you going to go with?
I don't know.
Me neither.
I think
I have to go with Lion the Witch. It's making me feel something. It's making me feel, that's such a heartbreaking scene. Yeah. Maybe that's just me as an Narnia fanatic who's read the book talking, but I'm like, this is making me remember the heartbreak of Aslan needing to feel them in that moment.
This one's really.
I got to go there.
I really like this one as well, the Dawn Treader one, but I do have to go with Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Yep.
And may the best wardrobe cover win.
Make the best wardrobe win. Yep, all the wardrobes moved on, including the 4th seed. All right, starting to see some familiar ones come back. We have our top-seeded Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe with Tumnus in the Snow, and our 4th-seeded Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe with showing Susan and Lucy hugging Aslan as he stares on toward us.
He's staring into your soul.
Is that where he's staring in?
His kind eyes are looking right at you, like you feel seen by us.
See, I think he's thinking, you've got something in your teeth there, Glumpuddle. I don't quite know how to tell you, though.
I think he looks really kind.
See, I'm trying to have a conversation. He's just like staring like, I wonder if he's going to, it's right there. It's right there. So what does your heart tell you here? I already know where your heart's going.
My heart tells me that Tumnus holds my heart.
Yes, it makes me want to read the book. It's an iconic scene, obviously, and maybe this shouldn't factor into this, but obviously it's the scene that inspired C.S. Lewis. It's such a simple, evocative image.
Incredibly evocative. And
very non-spoilery.
These are both, I would say, very, like, evocative moments.
Yeah.
But I think this represents...
But this one's more emotional.
This one's more emotional, but this one's more...
Magical,
exactly.
And, if we're going to bring spoilers into this This is from chapter 1.
Yeah, it's like
this is from like chapter 13.
Yeah.
So, and could potentially spoil
It's such a
critical
classic.
moment.
Like, the only thing that would make it better was if the lamppost was in it.
Yeah, that's true. It would be nice.
That's literally only, and it would be perfection.
But I wonder if that might put it over the top as far as being like right now it's so simple. Maybe if you added something else to it, maybe that would be a little bit too much. So I think we see where this is going.
Even though, as we said before, there's no lion, there's no witch, and there's no wardrobe.
Hooray! But
Hooray!
There's still some good in this world, though, I guess, despite not having that. I think, no surprise, top-seeded Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe stays in the race.
There. Yeah, for sure. Battle of the Banes. We have a third seed, and then we have a second seed. And these are both
margin's very close.
Covers. And interestingly enough, these are both from very similar parts of the story.
Lucy, Susan, Aslan.
Yeah, it's just Lucy, Susan, and Aslan. They're doing different things, but it's from the same moment-ish. So it's really like which one you kind of prefer in terms of aesthetics and classicness. And
I like with this first edition here, like you talked about, the creativity of how the more natural way they've made a border in the sense of history and mythology. I think that kind of gives it. And this is the first edition. Let me leave my reverence at the door here. There it goes. I know I'm not going to change my mind, I think, even though this is close. The third seed over there it makes me feel something. It makes me remember the emotions I felt during that scene. You can make an argument about spoilers, but somehow what's mattering to me right now is that this is a good image that captures the joy I felt in that moment when I read the book.
And I think
I like Aslan's expression there.
Yeah. And we all know, like, I like the simple covers. I do think that this one, the art is a little bit... It helps show you kind of what's going on a little bit better. It's also a bit bigger.
This is more a concrete moment. This is more abstract.
Abstract, yeah. Because obviously they don't go riding Aslan with like the fawns in the corner, just like
so far as we know.
As far as we know.
Hurry, move the branches. He's running faster. Keep up with him.
I have to go. I've got to go with the third seed right here.
Then let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's move the third seed on.
Let's just move on.
Okay, we've arrived. The winner of this matchup will be representing the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe in the Final Four. We have our
best of the best.
We have, no surprise, top-seeded Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe still here in our 3 seed. Not much of a surprise, too.
No.
This went, not far off from the way you would think. We've got classic Pauline Baines over here on my right, and we've got not Pauline Baines, but certainly classic.
Classic.
On my left.
To me, it's no contest.
It's
no contest.
I know what you want.
Yeah.
It's a choice between that one, and we've talked about this a little bit already, but this one is more evocative and magical.
It's incredibly evocative.
And this one's more emotional. This one makes me remember how I felt when I read that scene in the book. So which way, it's almost like this almost seems like the more intellectual choice.
For me, I have to go this one, and I would say because I probably, to me, I have more emotion when I think of this one because this is more of, and just anyone who knows kind of like my background with Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe and how it kind of started with a little bit movie, but then the books mostly. But like that to me is more what I remember like first about Narnia was that part. So that is what draws me in.
Yes, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
An observation. The book says that Tumnus's tail was caught up over his arm to keep it from trailing in the snow. If I'm seeing this correctly, I think it is in fact just dragging on the ground.
I mean, how dare they?
Yeah, movie Tumnus didn't have a tail at all, or had a very little one.
I'm prepared to forgive it.
Okay.
I'm prepared to forgive it. To me, it's no contest. This
is the one. If you're not a purist, this is the one for you clearly. Whereas this is classic Pauline Baines.
How dare you?
So
how dare you?
So I think that's what's happening here. Actually, no.
As you said yourself, this is what inspired.
That's true.
The entirety of Narnia. How can it not be any more purist than that?
But ultimately, we have to try to leave that at the door. I don't always succeed, but we have to
try.
Sometimes I think I mostly succeed.
No.
But I'll admit it when I think I don't.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just be completely honest. I like both of these a lot. I kind of lean this direction a little bit, but it's so close. I think I am inclined to let the Knights decide. So I'm going to go ahead and vote for this just to see what the Knights decide.
Oh man, that's really dangerous.
I know, as we've learned.
Go with your heart
So,
if you're going to commit to that, because I'm not budging.
so
I have to go with that one.
Which of these will the Knights of Narnia Web be sending to the Final Four? And the classic Tumnus is in there. Okay.
They came through. Thank you.
All right. That completes our Final Four. Were 3 of them from that set then?
I think they were.
Wow. Okay.
The
People have
Knights
spoken.
and me are in agreement.
All right. We made it.
We almost went 4 for 4. We were so close, you guys.
Okay.
Oh, my word.
That completes our Final Four. We've only got one more video to go. We will take the top choice from each region, put them all together. So in our next video, we will be crowning a champion.
Battle
So
it out.
stay tuned until next time.
Woo-hoo.